Hi, welcome to not Beef Boys this time around. Oh, it's just Andrew and I. What's happening? What's happening here? Well, let me tell you. This is a little side series that Andrew and I are doing. It's going to be called Cold Cuts. Is that what we decided on?
I actually did, yeah, I think Cold Cuts was the YouTube friendly.
Right.
Leave in the comments what you think this should be called.
We were going to go with Fatal Flank, but
we didn't know if YouTube would like it.
It's a true crime podcast series, vodcast series, because we're on video. We're looking at your
We're on
eyes
video.
Right now.
If you're listening on audio platforms, we will try to make this as audio friendly as possible.
So this is going to be just a first episode. Let us know how you like it. It's not going to take place of normal Beef Boys, but thanks for stopping by anyway.
Thank you for joining
You're going to
us.
stick around for the rest of this. So, Andrew, are you ready for today's story?
I'm so ready.
This story I've aptly named The Mushroom Mama.
Okay,
All right,
I'm in.
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Me? All right.
I don't have popcorn, but I'm buckled down.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's cool. Just, eat your imaginary popcorn. I'll put a PNG of popcorn next to you. So go ahead and do the eating motion, and then I'll... There you go. All right. I don't think that's how popcorn sounds. July 29th. 2023.
Oh, this is this year.
A small rural town called Leongatha in Victoria, Australia.
Ooh, an international one.
Exactly. We're getting our passport stamped here. About 80 miles southeast of Melbourne. So, maybe Kudos knows these people.
Kudos, leave in the comments if you know where that is.
Yeah, Kudos, leave in the
comments if you did this.
A 49-year-old woman named Erin Patterson was an ex-air traffic controller in 2001. That's not relevant.
Did she get fired because her daughter died and she got sad and then she forgot her name and then it said her name and then she's like, oh no, the plane crashed.
I thought this was funny because it was in 2001, which is when 9/11 happened. This has nothing to do with the story. I thought it was funny. Anyway,
wait, so did she quit being an air traffic controller because of 9/11?
All right, so her and her now ex-husband, right?
Right.
His name's Simon Patterson.
Simon Patterson.
They're having a tough time, with their marriage. They're breaking up. They're separating. They're getting back together. But the thing is, they have 2 kids together. So naturally in relationships, you want to sort of mend those wounds for the sake of the kids, right?
Yeah,
for the sake of the kids.
Family together for the sake of the kids.
She says, you know what? Let's have a nice lunch. Let's fucking reconcile our marriage. You come through, I'll come through, I'll make a meal, we'll make this right.
We'll get the jelly,
right?
We'll get the bread.
Exactly.
Got the cheese board.
But this is Australia, so you're naming traditional American things.
Vegemite, fucking brekkie.
So she invites her husband, her ex-husband I should say, his parents, so her in-laws, she invites her sister and her sister's husband. That's the crew we're working with here. These are the Monopoly pieces.
That's an odd crew to put together, especially when the focal point is a divorced couple.
Erin Patterson, she's kind of a wacky lady, which we'll get to.
A little bit of a kooky lass.
The family, they were going to have a nice time. They were going to kiss. They were going to make up. A little bit tongue action between her and her husband. Maybe, get the gang back together.
They're big Tom Brady fans, so that includes the kids.
Exactly. Dad walks in. Starts macking on his son.
I've missed you.
But he couldn't mac on his son at the lunch because scheduling got in the way. He said, I can't make it. Our kids want to go see a movie. So Erin is stuck having a very awkward lunch with her in-laws and her sister and her sister's husband.
He just dipped with the kids?
He just dipped.
She was like, I set up this wonderful lunch for all of us. We've got, your parents are going to be there. My sister and her husband are going to be there. It's going to be really good for the kids. And he's like, sorry, bitch. The kids want to go see Cars 3.
It is kind of funny to think like, yo, I invited your parents, but you're not coming.
If she's the one, if she kills, I might understand, because if I invited my in-laws and it was just me and like in-laws and then my sister and her husband, I might kill myself.
Yeah. That sucks because Erin went through the trouble of preparing a very traditional Australian meal. Andrew, what do you think it is? We know our boy Kudos.
Fucking kangaroo and Vegemite.
Close. It's actually a beef Wellington pie, a meat pie.
Okay.
Kudos never shuts up about his meat pies.
He does. Kudos, leave in the comments how much you talk about your meat pies, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, Kudos, leave in the comments your meat pie. Actually, no, he sent me his meat pie recipe. Well, I hope Kudos's family secret doesn't have her secret ingredient.
Cyanide.
Her secret ingredient was mushrooms.
Oh, I'm buckled in.
Okay. So the family shows up. They show up to Aaron's house. You know, they're all hungry. They're rubbing their bellies. They're picking their belly buttons. They're hungry.
Yeah.
Their tummies are grumbling.
They're grumbling.
Right? And she's upset because the whole point of this thing was to make up with her husband, but she already made the meal.
The beef Wellington's there. It's hot. You get through it. It's begging to be eaten.
She sent out the invites. I mean, what else are you going to do? People are at her door.
Yeah,
right?
She sent out the jib jabs or whatever those things were back in the day.
the jib jabs, the yak yaks.
Yeah, the fucking yak yaks or whatever the fuck.
So the family sits down. They enjoy their lunch. You know, the day ends. They all go home. That is until the next day, Andrew.
What happened?
Weirdly enough, all 4 people felt a little iffy. The kind of sick feeling you get, you know, when you get food poisoning. So they were all taken to a hospital to, you know, get inspected, get their bellies MRI'd or whatever the fuck.
So the doctors could start
food poisoning,
picking belly buttons and stuff.
But those doctors, instead of digging for gold, they were scratching their heads because this doesn't look like food poisoning, Andrew.
It doesn't look like food
entirely.
They're over there in the corner just scratching their damn heads.
Yeah, they're scratching their heads.
Little monkeys.
No, they're scratching their heads and they're rubbing their
tummies. And they're like, look what I can do.
The fucking sick guy in the bed's like, whoa, that's fucking
Doc, I feel
epic,
better,
dude.
Actually.
He stands up and leaves.
Dr. Smiles works every time.
But unfortunately, 2 of the members could not stand up and leave because 4 days later, on August 4th, 2023, the 2 women who attended Aaron's lunch, Gail Patterson, Simon's mom, the ex-husband, and Heather Wilkinson, Aaron's sister, ended up passing away at the hospital.
Okay.
They fucking died!
So wait, so these are clearly not the mushrooms I was initially thinking. These are like poisonous mushrooms.
I'm not saying that yet.
They got one of the lose your life mushrooms in Mario. They
Right.
jumped on it.
Yeah. Oh no! And then the next day, Don Patterson, which is Simon's dad, also succumbs to the symptoms. So we got 3 people dead because of the beef Wellington, because of something that happened at Aaron's house.
Okay.
So we don't know if it was the food. We don't know if it was something she put in the food. We don't know if something they were inhaling in the house.
Could be anything.
Could be anything. And that is exactly what the police were thinking at this point, because the last guy is a local pastor named Ian Wilkinson, who was Aaron's sister's husband. He was also there, but he was in a coma for a few months.
Oh, Jesus.
Didn't die. Now, Andrew, I gotta ask you something. Was this through sheer iron will, or was he protected by God?
I like to think he was protected by our Lord Jesus. Hang out in heaven for a little while. I'll show you around.
No, let's be right back.
Yeah, it's like a cool little time jump.
Imagine like God's just rubbing his tummy, like, oh, poor baby, pobrecito, you feel sicky. He's like, yeah.
My belly hurt.
My belly hurt. My stomach hurt.
God, my tummy hurt.
It's okay, my son.
It's okay, baby.
It's okay. It's okay, baby.
So that's kind of weird, huh? 3 people died. 1 guy's in a coma. But Andrew, they all had one thing in common.
Beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington. So from here, the cops begin to close in on Aaron and attempt to interview her because obviously they'll say, hey, what did you do?
The fuck did you put in
What
that
the
Beef
hell?
Wellington?
They bring the bodies. Look at this.
Look at this.
Why did you do this?
Holding this a limp person. Look at this.
Look what you
Do you
did.
see
It's like
what you
fucking
did?
slopping her out. Aside from, the dead people, they had no real proof that she did anything, right? So they had to let her go. She was released with no charge. They just went over there, they questioned her a bit.
Okay, so she was very steadfast in the fact that she's like, I didn't do shit. I tried to get my damn family back together.
Exactly.
Did she tell them that?
Her statement was as follows. I didn't do anything. I love them, and I'm devastated they're gone. I really want to repeat that I had absolutely no reason to hurt these people whom I loved.
I feel like I'm in Australia.
All right, Aaron, you didn't do anything. You didn't get a little bottle of the skull and crossbones and poured into the beef or the Wellington.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think her excuse was, Andrew?
Hang on, her excuse for not poison, like...
Sorry, not her excuse. I should say her saying like,
Oh,
it
her
could have been
like her theory on what could have happened.
Right, yeah.
My guess would be if she's trying to like do the old like the closer I am to danger, the farther away I am from suspicion. She's like, well, maybe it was the beef Wellington, but the only thing I could think of is the market I got the beef from.
You are spot fucking on.
Let's fucking go.
So, Aaron had told the cops that she picked up the ingredients from a, quote, Asian shop.
I really should have guessed that she layered some racism into it.
Right.
Just all the reporters were like, oh, I see.
They turn around, they tell the cops, they're like, oh yeah, pack up
and go. Case closed.
Pretty much the cops end up going to the, quote, Asian shops.
The Asian shops.
None of them had any recalls or health-related issues. This is a very isolated incident. You have a family torn to shreds in an afternoon. The kids are home now, and they're hungry. And turns out there's leftovers in the fridge.
Okay, hold on. She has the leftover beef Wellington?
This is by her own admission. So when she's getting questioned, she's like, I fed it to my kids, and they're fine. But why do you think that is?
Did she have it separated out so that the kids wouldn't get poisoned?
Kinda. They were picky eaters.
Perfect.
Okay. At this point, the police began to question those closest to Erin, both relationship-wise and just distance-wise, because they went and they talked to her next-door neighbor, right?
Right.
And the neighbor told police that, quote, Erin was an experienced forager who regularly picked mushrooms in the area.
I certainly hope a detective on that squad has a light bulb.
So you can hold it up above his head and be like, ding!
It's like, oh, crikey!
I know what to do. He says,
yeah, he just says crikey out loud.
That's his catchphrase.
Oh boy, he's on to something.
Oh boy. He gets on all fours, starts sniffing the ground, like he starts following a trail.
He's like climbing up the walls on all fours and stuff.
His head's spinning around. So this is important. Directly by her house in the Leongatha area grows a certain kind of mushroom known as the death cap mushroom.
I know what the death cap mushroom is. I was kind of just expecting it to be a less on the nose variety that she used.
Right, I know, yes.
But she just kind of
kill your family mushroom.
Yeah, I saw her over there
just foraging.
I saw her over there foraging for some kill my relatives mushrooms.
The patricide mushroom.
The fucking patricide mushroom.
It's a delicacy out here. The death cap mushroom, while it is on the nose, it's pretty infamous. It's actually, this stat made me laugh because it's famous for about 90% of mushroom-related fatalities.
Yo, okay. It's got bodies.
So fast forward to September 28th. Daylight. Only real ones will get that. The toxicology reports come back on those who perished. The cause of death. Andrew, would you like to take a guess?
Mushroom.
That means you're correct. That also means you're correct. So the Law Boys, they have their case. The toxicology reports come back. Yeah, this bitch killed these people with some fucking mushrooms. They're gonna go fucking question Erin at this point, because now they have something to go off.
Yeah, you got the mushroom patch.
The statement from the neighbor.
The statement from the neighbor that she's an expert mushroom gatherer.
Forager.
Yeah, an expert forager. It's one of her
She's a pro.
Character traits.
So, with this smoking gun, the police seize Erin's computer, and they raid her house on November 2nd, and they arrest the 49-year-old woman. She was charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder.
Damn.
As it is alleged that she tried to kill her husband 3 times before this, but he somehow avoided every single one.
My boy is unkillable.
And it's funny because she's like, oh no, I gotta take the kids to go see Cos 3.
Really, the whole entire reason like her plan failed is because her kids and her husband wouldn't cooperate. They just would not die. Her kids were like, I don't like mushrooms. Puts it off to the side, eats their beef Wellington and doesn't die. And then the husband is busy getting full on theater popcorn, so he didn't eat enough beef Wellington.
And it's funny because the neighbor calls her an expert forager, but you would think an expert forager would be like, not a lot of people like mushrooms, but you know, what else goes in a beef Wellington? Maybe some wheat? You know,
poison.
But maybe she was doing some like untraceable shit. Like, oh, I don't know where the mushrooms came from.
I do have to. Did she not know that toxicology reports are a thing? That's like what most people wait for. It's like, oh man, how did these people die? We'll wait for the toxicology report. And she just, she got out there early. Like,
my guess
wasn't me.
My guess is she was probably trying to, hope her Asian shop thing would pull through. Like, I don't know where they got these ingredients.
Her racism red herring. I just made it. I didn't get the.
I just made it.
Talk to one of them.
It wasn't until later, right? Because you bring up an excellent point. How does she not know that toxicology is the thing?
Clearly, especially if she's an expert forager.
Exactly. I mean, this wasn't like in the 80s. This was this year. This was a few months ago. This happened. So it's like, technology's at a point where you can't really do anything and get away with it. You know what I mean?
It is hard to get away with things in this day and age.
It really is.
You take one thing away from today's Cold Cuts cast. It's hard to get away with
hard. It's really hard to kill people.
It's really freaking difficult to get away with murder.
You know, the cops, with this in mind, they go and they talk to people who knew her.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what do you think? What do you think about this fucking bitch?
What are the
right?
vibes?
Yeah. What are the vibes?
Can I get a vibe check?
Can you give us a vibe check?
Can I get a vibe check on Aaron Patterson?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Hey, we're here to conduct a vibe check. So they went and they talked to her ex-colleagues. They would later come out and say that she was, quote, a loner. She would say some weird shit and didn't talk to anybody. That wasn't a quote. I paraphrased that. And she didn't get along with anybody. So she was just, a lifelong...
If you ask me, she's kind of a fucking... That's also not a quote, but just paraphrasing a little, just adding a little bit of my own flavor, but, kind of a...
But if there was one positive thing they could say about her, Andrew, was that...
She's a damn good forager.
I guess, two things.
They all
two
know
positive
that
things
about
you can say
her.
about
Just
her.
every single person
Right.
like, now that you mention she's a really good forager.
She's a really good forager.
The
really,
cops just
really
the
good
whole
at
time
hunting
are
and
like,
gathering.
Man, if only we were getting a really good clue.
They're also scratching their heads like the doctors and rubbing their tummies. But the one positive thing that her colleagues were able to say about her was that she was secretive yet quite intelligent, much brighter than people think. Which, is interesting because, like, what if she was just like this ultra fucking genius who thought that Asian meme would work, but then it didn't, and it bit her in the ass because now she's going to prison. Well, I mean, her court case is until May 3rd of next year, because they're currently going through her computer to see if there's anything else they can dig up.
Interesting. I like that she tried to kill her husband multiple times before and just got tired of it. So instead of narrowing her kill onto one person, she kind of just went like shotgun mode. She was like, fuck it. If I can get anybody killed, I'll be happy. My success rate here is plummeting.
I'm going for fucking KD here.
Yeah, exactly. It's not looking good currently. I'm 0-3.
Right. That is actually a good point, because I do wonder if that's the end of the story, by the way. But I do wonder if her doing the Beef Wellington bit and inviting his family over was to like guarantee herself a kill. It's like I've tried 3 times. He's never around. He doesn't eat my fucking Wellington.
He goes to the
so I'm gonna
movies
invite his
instead.
parents.
I painted a big movie theater on a wall trying to get him to run into it, and that didn't work. I do like that thought process though, because like, what was her game plan if she did? Like, if you just kill your husband, you're gonna get. We just discussed this earlier. It's impossible. You can't get away with anything these days. In this woke America, you can't get away with murder anymore.
It's Joe Biden's Australia.
But like, what is the thought process of like you invite a bunch of people over to dinner and then like, what if they all had died on the spot and you're the only one there, just like. Well, this is a little bit awkward.
I didn't have this in the cards.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is her game plan then?
Just like her fucking colleague from air traffic control, the air traffic control store said that she was really smart. So, maybe she knew she had the fucking times in her head. Like, all right, they eat the Beef Wellington at this time. They get home at this time. They fucking die at this time.
Okay, that could be it. And then she was like, and if anybody asks, I just say... fucking Asians.
It was the Asians.
It was the goddamn Asians. That probably could have worked.
But it didn't. She's in jail.
She's going to prison. What if they find something else on her computer, like not related to the killings, but it's also illegal?
Just find a bunch of charges.
Yeah, just a bunch of... They're just like, okay,
wait a
what
second.
the fuck?
I wasn't expecting this. So that was this week's story.
Thank you for joining us.
This might not be a weekly thing. Probably aiming for what, like bi-weekly? Maybe we'll nail something down.
It might not even be like a regular scheduled thing. It might just be whenever we come up with a story. But
whenever we feel.
Let us know if you want what you would like to see from this, and we'll probably launch this officially next season.
But that's our show. Go fucking jack off. Go eat some mushrooms. Goodbye. Go. Run like the wind. Go jack off. Go.